Hey guys, Brady here, and I'm trying to upload this other video on my channel about the comparing the two the '99 Mummy movie and the 2017 Mummy movie, and it's not going too well. I recorded it on my iPad because I kind of wanted to, and my iPad won't let me do a video longer than 15 minutes. So, plus I showed clips from the '99 movie, and I don't want to keep pausing this video on my phone and then showing the screen and then going back to my face because it's gonna take a while. It's easier if I do it on my iPad because it's I have iMovie on there, and I know iMovie a lot more. I have video editor on this phone, but I'm not used to it, so I don't want to use it. So, but let's just get to the comparison. People are not wanting to see the new Mummy movie. A lot of people are complaining that it's not Brendan Fraser. Although I liked Brendan Fraser in the role as Doctor. I think it was Dr. Rick, right? Richard. His name is Richard Rick. I like his character, especially in the second movie. The second movie is my favorite in the franchise. But let's be honest, that first movie is really boring. Like the first hour or so, nothing happens in the movie. You're with the characters. I felt like they spent a little bit too long with the characters in this movie. They took a while to set up these characters. And then when they do set up the characters, after like that 30-minute mark, there is still boring shit to come. They're walking around the tombs. They're looking at the walls. They're not saying anything interesting. They're not saying anything funny. They're not saying anything that's, I don't know. Or they're trying to say something funny, but it's just coming off as awkward. I mean, we got two people. We got the good guys, and then we got the people who are trying to I don't know, like rob the place. And one of them gets his eyes gouged out and now has to wear a bandana around his eyes. My eyes! And then we got characters like Benny. Benny is a good character. I like Benny. Well, he's not as good as a new character. He's not as good as his new character's counterpart in the new movie, Chris. Chris is a little bit better. Chris starts out kind of annoying. Chris is Jake Johnson's character, by the way. He starts off very annoying, and then, like, his first couple of scenes is just him whining to Tom Cruise that he doesn't want to go on this adventure with him, and that he shouldn't be doing what he's doing. But a whole bunch of stupid, annoying shit. But his character does stop being annoying. He's not annoying after like the first 20 minutes. Like, after we're done being introduced to his character is a good character. I mean, spoiler, it's probably because he got bitten by a spider, and he kind of like dies, sort of, so he's pretty much now like the Tom Cruise's guardian angel. He's like a zombie or some sort like that. But he wasn't, after he got bit by that spider, he was like a normal character. Like, his character wasn't, oh my god, this character's on screen, I want to fucking kill this character. He wasn't like Douche from Sausage Party, where every single line of dialogue he had was him saying bro. No. Jake Johnson was an excellent character in this movie. I thought his character progressed well. I thought all the resolution, I thought, like, even though this, I thought, like, all the problems in this movie were resolved. Tom Cruise turns into a monster sort of in this movie. He's not really a monster. He's still Tom Cruise. But, yeah. I had a problem with this movie. It is a spoiler, so you have been warned. Alright, so people don't understand that it was already revealed that Russell Crowe is Dr. Jekyll in this series. Like, in the Dark Universe, Russell Crowe is playing Dr. Jekyll. I don't get why people, and so many reviews, Chris Stuckman, other people are like, oh, I don't want to say what Russell Crowe's character is playing, because I, for one, was surprised. obviously, if you're not like me, you haven't been researching this movie because I was so excited. Like I said, this was like one of my top 10 most anticipated movies of the year, and it paid off in my opinion. It's not as good as Kong Skull Island. It's not as good as like Wonder Woman or I think Logan's my number one so far. It's not as good as Logan, but I really enjoyed this movie. This movie was a lot of fun. Kong is a better action adventure movie than this, but or monster movie, but yeah. So anyway, going back to Dr. Jekyll. So Russell Crowe is introduced as Dr. Jekyll in this movie. We get a brief introduction to him in like the first opening minutes of the movie, and then we're reintroduced to him in like 45 minutes into the movie, and that's when we get all this cool little Easter eggs. Like there's like these jars. Like one of the jars has like an arm from the creature from the Black Lagoon. I turned to my friend. Oh my god! Holy shit! That's the creature from the Black Lagoon's claw. And then he pointed out that he saw like Dracula's fangs in one of the jars. Like there's like Easter eggs like that in this movie. So at least look forward to that when you see this movie. This movie. Please go see this movie. I cannot stress this enough. Please go see The Mummy. I want the cinematic universe to happen. Speaking of cinematic universe, the way the way they so Dark Universe is pretty much a logo. It's a production company because they show you the new Universal logo, and then it does like this weird flip thing, and then it shows like this yellowish golden I'm gonna say it's Venus because Venus is right next to Earth, and it says Dark Universe in big letters. So Dark Universe is a production company now, and it's actually a pretty fucking cool logo if you ask me. The way they showed it in the movie, it's a pretty cool logo. But anyway, back to Dr. Jekyll. I'm getting it's my ADD. The movie Dr. Jekyll in this movie played by Russell Crowe. There's this. If I had to have a a negative for this movie, it'd be what Russell Crowe does in this movie. Russell Crowe does like all these expositions and all this like that. Exposition doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, it's fine if a character is talking to another character and he's giving like the other character like all this like explanation stuff like that. Make sure this happened a lot of this that happened this happened 3 million years ago. That happened this 2 days ago. You're supposed to be doing that. I don't care when a character does that to another character. Yes, it's for the audience, and yes, people say it's like a lazy way of telling a story. I mean, it doesn't really bother me as long as it's not boring dialogue. I mean, as long as they're not saying like, I don't know. It's hard to explain something. It's hard to say something that comes off as boring. As long as they're not just reading from like a textbook and be like, I don't know, like a boring history textbook. But yeah, so we see Mr. Hyde in this movie. Mr. Hyde is in this movie, and that is my problem with this movie. That is my only problem with this entire movie is the way they depict Mr. Hyde. So when we're reintroduced to Russell Crowe's character, who's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in this movie, Russell Crowe has like this syringe and he like stabs himself in his hand whenever he kind of goes out of control. See, if you guys don't know this, I am Hulk fan. The Incredible Hulk was both influenced by Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and Frankenstein, which explains why Universal made the Incredible Hulk movies, Hulk and the Incredible Hulk, and I guess they also produced the TV show from the 70s. Anyway, so yeah, so he has this syringe scene. Anyway, so then Tom Cruise gets into like this fight scene with Russell Crowe, and Russell Crowe plays is Mr. Hyde, and it's kind of disappointing The way hopefully his transformation changes in the universe. Hopefully this is just what they could have got because of the budget. Maybe they ran out of budget, but so far, Mr. Hyde, as of 2017, is just Russell Crowe with green makeup on his face with like veins and shit. That's pretty much it. It's nothing special. Like I said, hopefully they expand on his whatever when he turns into Dr. Jekyll. But right now it's just Russell Crowe with like green makeup on his face, and then it's pretty disappointing. I was really disappointed when like when I saw him turn, I was like, oh my god! I like turned my friend, oh my god, he's turning into Mr. Hyde. He's turning into Mr. Hyde, and then after the movie, I was like, not after the movie, but after the scene, I was like, I didn't like that at all. But yeah, but for the Brendan, okay, let's go back to the Brendan Fraser movie. The Brendan Fraser movie had annoying scenes. Like I said, the first hour or so is kind of boring, but we have like scenes like Rachel Weisz using a fucking ladder as stilts and knocking over bookcases and a shelf, and then we have that bald guy that appeared in like every 90s and early 2000s movie. You know, the guy that hits his head in the beginning of Independence Day, the butler from Home Alone 4, the butler from Mr. Deeds, this guy in The Mummy. He's kind of tall, bald, has a beard, has a deep voice. But, yeah. Or, not deep, he kind of has a weird voice. And then we're introduced to Jonathan also, who is Evie's, Rachel Weisz's, brother in this movie. Jonathan is he's a bug-eyed person, and he's kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Jonathan's character. He just something about his character just really bugs me. And when we're introduced to him, he's supposed to be like, oh, I'm the comic relief guy, and so is Benny. But Brendan Fraser is known to be a comedic actor, so why not just have Brendan Fraser do all the comedy? I mean, he already has some good lines in this movie, such as hissing at the mummy. I love when he does that. And then he like shoves the cat into the mummy's face, and the mummy just like freaks out. That was pretty funny. But I feel like all the things they tried doing with Jonathan in this movie failed epically. I'm talking about in the '99 movie. Everything they did with Jonathan in the movie failed epically. Benny, on the other hand, I liked Benny. This conversation with Brendan Fraser and how Brendan Fraser like almost threw him overboard, and like, you wouldn't have thrown me over. I have kids. He's like, you don't have kids. Like, someday I'll do. That's funny. I was on that boat scene. The boat scene lasted forever. Wait, what is up with Universal and boat scenes? Long, very boring boat scenes. They did it in King Kong, and they did it in The Mummy in 1999. Not only that The Mummy from 1999 takes place in 1932, which is when the original Mummy movie came out, and then King Kong from 2005 takes place in 1933, which is the year the original King Kong came out. So I guarantee you, when the Wolfman comes out, it's going to take place in 1941, because that's when the Wolfman came out. And then, no, they're not going to do that. But anyway, so, yeah. There's just a lot of just... People are also saying that this movie relies a lot on jump scares. I'm talking about the Tom Cruise movie right now. Relies a little bit on jump scares. I don't know if you remember, but there's a lot of jump scares in the Brendan Fraser film as well. Some of them were stupid, like the ones in this movie also. Like the one in the Tom Cruise movie were stupid also. They're a little bit more effective in the Tom Cruise movie. But, yeah. That, and I think the Tom Cruise movie had better action scenes. Like, some of the action in the 1999 movie looked kind of fake and CGI-ish, because if you guys don't know who Steven Summer is, he later on directed G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra. So he went from The Mummy. People call it a fun... Actually, I kind of like G.I. Joe a little bit more than The Mummy. I have an unpopular opinion, I know. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Exhibition didn't really annoy me. Annabelle Wallace's character didn't really annoy me. People were like, "Oh, she was just a damsel in distress." Boo, fuckity who. Let her be a damsel in distress. Yeah, I know. We had a strong woman character last week with Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot killed it as Wonder Woman. Her character kicked a lot of ass. I wish people wish that Annabelle Wallace would have kicked a lot of ass, or passed the whole women are damsel in distress. We guess we needed one in the movie, and since they kind of killed off Jake Johnson, let's just make Annabelle Wallace as the damsel in distress. There's no end credit scene in this movie, and that's kind of like let down that there was no end credit scene. But yeah, go see The Mummy this weekend. Go see it. Do not go see Wonder Woman for the fifth time, or Pirates of the Caribbean. Go see The Mummy. This universe needs to happen. It really needs to fucking happen. What was I gonna say? I don't know. I just had a lot of fun with this movie. I will admit there could have been stuff it could have been a little bit better than it was. I still stand by my 4-star rating. Yeah. If you guys are worried about the destroying cities cliche, they didn't really destroy a city, or they did, but they don't really show the aftermath. It's just Sophia Botella doing this with her hands, and then you just see like sand fly everywhere, so you don't even see what's happening to the buildings barely. You see cars flying towards Tom Cruise and shit like that, but you don't really see any buildings at this point. So don't worry, this is not another destruction porn movie that you guys were peeving about in the comment section to the trailer, including my friend. And according to another friend of mine, there's a little tie-in to Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Who knew? So this is kind of a reboot / sequel to the Brendan Fraser movies, I guess. Maybe Brendan Fraser will pop up in this. I doubt it. My friend kept joking like, "Oh, if there's an end credit scene, I would just watch the end credit scene be Brendan Fraser just saying hi to the camera and then walking off." For me, I was pretty much guessing what the end credit scene would be. There's no end credit scene. Hopefully there will be in theaters. Maybe they didn't do it for the screenings, but I want to see. I would have loved to have seen it, what they would do with their end credits. I had a feeling it was gonna be something with like Russell Crowe just saying like, "Oh, we're introducing like Russell Crowe introducing like Invisible Man and shit like that." Oh, by the way, Invisible Man is in this movie. Johnny Depp is in this movie. You do not see him in the movie though, but he's in this movie. He's in every frame of this movie. Want to know how I know? Because he plays the Invisible Man. So you might as well just say that Johnny Depp was in the entirety of The Mummy. It stars Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, Russell Crowe, Annabelle Wallace, Sophia Botella, and Jake Johnson. Just so you don't see Johnny Depp in this movie because he is the Invisible Man. That is a joke. I don't know, I feel like there's more I could say about The Mummy. Both the Mummy movies. I thought the original one from the 30s was okay. If I had to choose my favorite classic monster movie, it'd either have to be Frankenstein or Creature from the Black Lagoon. It may be Creature from the Black Lagoon. When I bought the classic monster set on Blu-ray last year on Black Friday, I was so excited to watch Creatures from the Black Lagoon. I think that was like the first one I popped into the DVD player, my Blu-ray player, and I fell in love with it. You could tell Spielberg drew some inspiration from Creature from the Black Lagoon for Jaws. Just some of the camera angles just kind of look the same, were similar. But yeah, I think The Creature from the Black Lagoon may be my favorite classic monster movie from Universal. And then probably Frankenstein, and then Dracula. Invisible Man was pretty good also. I haven't seen Wolfman yet. The Bride of Frankenstein was kind of disappointing because we're not introduced to the Bride of Frankenstein until like the last 10 minutes of the movie. So the fact that this is at 100%, that Bride of Frankenstein at 100% is kind of beyond me. You think the movie called The Bride of Frankenstein, you'd see The Bride of Frankenstein a lot earlier than the last 10 minutes of the movie. I mean, come on. Like, I was so excited watching The Bride of Frankenstein. Like, when I bought the set, there was two movies I was really excited I was looking forward to. The Invisible Man and Bride of Frankenstein. Bride of Frankenstein was a big disappointment in my opinion. It was a huge letdown. I really wanted to see what they would do with The Bride of Frankenstein, and they don't really show her to like the last 10 minutes of the movie. And we're just reintroduced to Frankenstein walking around. I think he plays poker with some guys, and yeah. But I want the monster universe, the dark universe, the Universal Classic Monsters universe. I want the universe to be rebooted. I want a modern take on it. So guys, please go see this movie. I implore you to go see this movie. Instead of Pirates of the Caribbean and Wonder Woman for the 20th time. Because Universal needs your money. And I need this franchise to happen. I'm not being paid by Universal Dark Universe. This is just coming from a fan that wants to see this thing happen, because I've done a lot of reading on this universe and I want to see what they do with it. And if this movie makes no money, they're going to scrap it. I don't want them scrapping this universe. I want this universe to happen. Go see it. Don't get it scrapped, or else I might have to fake my own death and move to fucking Colombia or something. Not Colombia, Cambodia.